Roster-wise, they're very good, but I do think that they also have a lot of decisions to make in the next couple years.
Yes,
like Travarius Ward's going to be a free agent next year. Drake Greenlaw is going to be a free agent. We'll see what happens with Ayuk. And then after that, you got to pay Afanga. You got to figure out what you're going to pay Purdy. Like, you got a lot of choices that you got to make, and you can't keep everybody.
Yeah,
so,
you're paying Purdy. I mean, you're paying him 55 plus a year. That's your pay.
You think that they're going to give him 55?
They're going to have to.
I think if there's any
what else
team,
are they doing?
I think if there's – go ahead.
No, I mean, Trevor Lawrence has not had a more successful career than Brock Purdy. In what planet?
But here's the thing with that, man. Like, you can look at the playoff longevity and whatnot, but if you ask me right now who I'm taking, Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence, I know who I'm taking, and it's not Brock Purdy.
I agree with you, but that's not the argument we're having.
I do think that if there's one team and one coach that can say, look, man, we love you. We're not giving you $55 million a year. Kyle Shannon's proven, hey, I got that with Jimmy Garoppolo.
If you want to make the argument that they just shouldn't at all pay him, that's fine. I'll hear that. But if they're going to pay him, he's getting $55 million a year. Like, that's going to happen. Because I'll tell you right now, you and I both know Tua is going to get paid before Purdy. And I'm telling you right now, there's not a world. I would take Purdy over Tua.
I agree.
So that's going to be the problem. Like, Tua, and look, I wrote a piece about this in June.
Very good piece, by the way. Go read that.
Thank you. I wrote a piece about him, and I talked to 6 people in the league. I talked to 4 people up in front offices, and I talked to 2 defensive coordinators. And I will say, without giving them away, 2 very, very well-known coordinators who have faced him. Both guys. I left it open-ended. I didn't lead anybody. I just said, hey, look, like, what are your thoughts on Tua? Just give me, like, when you're game planning for him, what are your thoughts? Both guys said to me, yeah, well, if he can't read defenses, like, we're just making him go off his first read. If we can muddy the picture, essentially. I'm trying to find the text right now, actually, so I can read exactly what was said without pulling up the story.
Okay.
But I mean, it was damning. It was pretty damning. Okay. So one guy says to me, try to make him read things. He just throws it to spots a lot of the time. Keep changing the windows on him and he'll struggle. And that was the kinder of the 2 things that were said to me about him from defensive coordinators. So the other one, best way to look at it, you prepare for the speed at the skill positions, then you prepare for Mike McDaniel, ... then Tua. He doesn't like to get hit or read coverages. When is he at his best? RPOs and quick game. Next question to ask yourself, how many QBs would you take before him? And I, in full disclosure, said I would take him 9th in the AFC.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? And he said, you're not wrong.
I think when I
and that guy's going to get $55 million a year, whether it's from Miami or somebody else. So let me tell you something right now. Purdy is getting $55 million a year plus.
I'll say this. I don't think the Dolphins are going to pay Tua. I think the Raiders will be dumb enough to do it. I think that there will be. That feels like a pretty Raiders signing, right? Like, he was pretty good somewhere else. We'll bring him in and give him a ton of money.
For the record with Tua, I think it's like 50-50 if they sign him. I think they're going to make him play this year out. Yeah. They've got the tag at their disposal. The disposal. I can't say it apparently. The disposal. I'll tell you one thing that nobody's talking about, because in this day and age, for some reason, it's like a taboo thing. Those head injuries are a real thing with him. Like, if you don't think that's part of the conversation in Miami, you're crazy. Like, just because he stayed healthy last year, I mean, God bless him, good for him. But, like, you don't think that factors into them thinking about signing him for 5 years?
Sure.
I mean, of course it does. It has to. So, I mean, he openly talked about the fact. He was like, should I keep playing?